Amidst the abundance of heroes in all forms of media nowadays, I never found them too interesting. To me, the concept of a hero is too constraining. A character having to fight evil while being good themselves feels overfried and overdone. And the thing is, this overplayed mundane formula works every single time. Whether it's a new blockbuster hit film or that quirky new anime, the idea of good versus evil has been etched in time since the first tellings of stories. But sometimes there's that show that breaks all constraints, a piece of media that shatters all the preconceived notions of what I think a hero is. A hero that doesn't fight evil in the name of good. A hero who's capable of committing crime in order to reach their ultimate goal. In other words, an immoral hero.
いたした。俺がゼロだ。
A perfect example of this is Lelouch from Code Geass. Though if you watch the show, you'd know that his actions were for the overall benefit of society. However, throughout the entire series, Lelouch's plans and actions accounted for many innocents to be endangered or even die in order to achieve world peace from the grasping clutches of the oppressive Britannia. These are the kinds of characters that can really make my blood rush. The fact that I can't predict what'll happen next, to me, is bliss itself. Though having said that, there arises another question. What's the difference between an immoral hero and a tragic villain? Both parties seek their ideals while not caring about how they achieve it. Lelouch became a villain to his friends and family halfway through the show, but as viewers know that what he did had more purpose. Light sought to better society by eliminating criminals under the name Kira. Though he was condemned by prosecutors around the world, including L and even his father, it was indeed true that Light's actions caused crime rates around the world to drastically decrease. So were Lelouch and Light villains, or were they just living the life of condemned immoral heroes? Well, to answer that question, it isn't so simple anymore. Before we can talk about anything, for clarity, I have to outline what a hero is. For this video, a hero must be the main character of any show or story. Secondly, they must have a specific ideal or goal. This serves to separate a hero from a protagonist. Light is a hero, and insert anime character here is a protagonist. Villains and heroes are two sides of the same coin. Traditional good civilian heroes in any form of TV just achieve their goals in a good Samaritan fashion, while never crossing a very high bottom line. To the point where when it comes down to it, a lot of heroes are boring and predictable. More often than not, the same atmosphere gets created every time, while slightly changing the subject and character disposition. In this way, villains are so much more relatable and cooler. Stan in My Hero Academia's whole purpose was to raise awareness of the fact that heroes charge exorbitant amounts of money to do what they do, to save lives. He had a clear-cut purpose and pure desire to create real heroes. But the way he did it was not so good. But that speaks volumes of his character. He's had enough of society to the point that he decides he'll become the evil for the sake of real justice. That's exactly what makes him feel real. Villains and heroes both have ideals, while the former just achieves them in a more sinister fashion. My Hero Academia is a show that I personally dislike. I find Deku's character to be unassuming and overall basic. That's more due to my personal biases and tastes, but when I saw Stan, I really liked his character and how Horikoshi made him out to be. Despite my differences with My Hero Academia, Stan is a fucking good character. While villains and traditional heroes are two sides of the same coin, villains and immoral heroes are the same side itself. Villains achieve their goals in a more sinister fashion, and immoral heroes do the same. Thorfinn is a great example. After the death of his father, aka Chat Papa, in the name of revenge, Thorfinn joins Askeladd's party in hopes of one day being able to kill him. And throughout that journey, he sees them do really heinous shit and even does them himself. He burns villages, kills innocents, steals, and a lot of other stuff that would get this video age restricted. To the villagers and his victims, Thorfinn would be a villain who deserves utmost punishment, but to us viewers who've seen this seemingly ruthless character grow up from a little innocent boy, his actions can't be justified, but since we know how and why he did it, Thorfinn's actions do become a little more rational. So I'll ask you once again, what makes Stan any worse or better as a character than someone like Thorfinn? The answer is they're not. Villains and immoral heroes are the same. The origins of a villain would be the same as an immoral hero. And mind you, when I say villain, I do mean villains with deep-rooted motives. I do acknowledge that there are villains that are evil for the sake of just being evil. Frieza and Z and Toguro are great examples, but that's not what I'm talking about today. Good and bad in the first place is something that the characters and viewers place on themselves. If a character is inherently just good or just bad, that in itself is a character flaw. Think about it, if a character that only does good or just bad be interesting enough to be the focal point of an entire show? Well, no, it won't. Main characters need struggle, the struggle to better oneself and the people around them. Being binary between good and bad would ruin a main character. To sum it up, an immoral hero is made from the character's ideals and disposition in the story. Both the villain and the hero doing bad in order to achieve good are the same. Whether they count as a villain or a hero is determined by the story and the people around them. And that's what makes them so interesting. They're the same genre of characters but are given differing identities and fates, allowing for more interpretation from the viewers. Thank you for watching, subscribe, and bye.